section. Joan's favorite stories to tell were things that not only made people laugh, but she loved to shock people. She loved it. She loved to shock people. So I kept that in mind when I was trying to think of the things to say. When Joan walked into a room, it did not matter what kind of gathering it was. Joan was the party. She brought the party with her. She loved to laugh. And she loved to say any crazy thing that came out of her mouth. So what I'm really trying to tell you is some of you might want to cover your ears when I speak. So my mom tells a story. Joan has been in my life since I was only a few days old. She lived near me in the United States when I was first born. And my mom tells a story of when Joan first met me when I was only a few days old. Joan looked at me in the crib and looked at me as a baby. And this is Joan, so she said, "Oh my God, that's an ugly baby." But my mom tells that story with love because she knows how much Joan really loves us. Joan and I, like my tante always said, she is my dad's oldest sister, but she's not just my tante. I always said she was my second mom. And she always said that we were so much alike. She used to tell me that I was the daughter she never had. And I said, thank God, because I'm crazy enough without that. So, and Joan always had a very, very special bond with every child, like Elke knows. Every kid felt special with Joan around, and she always made you feel like that she was on your side as a kid, and she would be happy to be playing with the kids while all the other adults just sat and talked. She was a magnet for kids and for animals. Animals could do no wrong for her. Joan had many hobbies, and gardening and crafts, like Elke was saying, she always liked to do things with her hands. And whatever it was, cooking or gardening, she could not just have any spices or any tools. It had to be the right tool. The right tool. Oh no, that's not the right one. No. We have to go here, we have to go here, we have to go there until we find the right one. That's the right one. Oh yes, that's nice. That's a good one. My brother and I were talking because Joan lived with us for a while in California, and she was driving this big green van. And she had a CB radio. CB radio is really only for the big truck drivers, but she had one, and she said, yes, 10-4, this is the big green machine, and she would talk to all the truck drivers. And when she was living with us, she used to pick my brother Carl and I up from school and our friends. And in the United States, people who smoke only buy cigarettes. They don't roll their own. So Joan used to sit there in the van with our friends and roll her cigarettes, and our friends would be shocked and looking at us and looking at her, and Joan said, yes, it's Holland Gold. It's legal in where I come from. So she always had a great sense of humor. And her talents, she could make something out of anything, and she could make something out of nothing. I used to tell her that we had a TV show called MacGyver. She was like a MacGyver. And she was that way till the very end when she wrapped the foil around the pencil to make her cigarette holder so she could smoke in hospice. I was looking one time at baby pictures, and I said, Mom, what is that on my head? And my mom said, well, Tante Joan wanted to keep the sun out of your eyes. And I said, oh, I look like Ali Baba. She took a saktuk, a handkerchief, with rubber bands, and made this crazy hat for me to keep the sun off my head. Joan loved to brag a lot, but never about herself. It was always bragging about the people she loved. She would tell people about my brother, especially when he saw all the things he helped me fix. My nephew Carl can fix anything, and he can make anything. He can do construction, and the way he loves to fish, and she was always talking about that. She was always bragging about her younger sister going and putting herself through school when she was older and becoming a teacher. And she said, Cora and I did not just work together. Cora was the supervisor, and she was very, very proud of that. And when people would ask her something, she says, "That's okay. I don't need you to tell me. I'll ask my nephew. He's a lawyer." So everything, Jeremy knows everything. She was always very generous. She loved to give things, and she was always giving gifts and candy and everything, especially for kids. When she would come to visit me in California, the last time was in November, I said, "Joan, where do you want to go when you stay with me this time?" She said, "I like to go back to Old Town Sacramento. It's a little historical part of our city." I said, "Okay, what do you want to do there? You want to take a tour or go on the boat?" "No, I need to get some fudge for Core." She wanted to bring back fudge. And I said, "Okay, what do you want to do after Old Town?" And she said, "Well, I need to buy something for Oli, I need to buy something for Jan Doodle and for Don," and she had her list. And she says, "And I need to buy something for Yaka." And I said, "Okay, what do you need to buy for Yaka?" 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just everything. So when Joan came to visit me, we went shopping. And I said, "Okay." And I was happy to do it because I know Joan would do the same for me. And I said, "Okay, Joan, for you, what can we do for you?" She said, "The only thing I want is my POMG. I want my peace of mind guarantee." That's what she used to say all the time. And when I was a little kid, like I said, she was always generous, and she would take my brother and I to the store, and she would say, "Buy anything you like. You can pick out anything you want in the store." And I would come with little things, and she would get so angry. She said, "I do that. Why always with that tete vignette shit business? You know, get something better, get something nicer." And then when I was older, I would say, "Joan, don't worry about it. You don't have to spend your money on me. I'm just happy to visit." And she says, "You know, don't worry about it. It costs what it costs. Money has got to roll." So she said that to me my whole life. One thing about Joan, too, she had a spicy mouth. Never too bad, but she liked to say some bad words sometimes. One time when I was here visiting with my boys, they were maybe 9 and 10 the first time, and we were driving around in the car. And Joan was trying to take them somewhere to show them something fun for them. And she started saying some bad words in English, and my kids were laughing. And Joan said, "What's so funny?" And they said, "Oh, you're saying bad words." And she said, "No." I said, ships. There's a lot of ships in Holland here. So. And then someone else cut in front of us, and she said another English swear word. And my kids were laughing, and she said, "What?" "No." I said, "Don't pass that hole. Don't pass that hole." So, one of the things that I appreciate and treasure most about Joan is that she always made sure that I stayed connected to my Indonesian culture and heritage with the food and family and pictures and stories. And I was always grateful for that. Joan was always very family oriented. She loved her family deeply and fiercely. And she was not just a family-oriented person, but she loved people. When I come to visit her, we couldn't even walk down the street or in a store. "Oh, that's my friend. Oh, in that store. Oh," and everyone wanted to talk to her because everyone was Joan's friend. Everyone knew her. And back to her sense of humor, because that was a huge part of who Joan was, and especially the shocking people. I apologize, but please indulge me because this is Joan, and I want to give her one last laugh and one last chance to shock people, but some of you already know this. But she loved to go around and tell people, as an older woman with gray hair, she said, "You know I have a tattoo, right?" And they're all, "What? The old woman has a tattoo and she's telling us?" She said, "Yeah, I've got a tattoo. You want to see it?" And people are, "Okay." So she would pull her pants a little bit and say, "Do you see it?" And they say, "No." She says, "You don't see it? It's a rabbit tattoo." I said, "No, we don't see the rabbit tattoo." And she goes, "Oh, it must have gone back in the hole." And that was Joan. Cor and Len and I spent a nice day together the other day, and we were laughing about how she kept her sense of humor and the shocking part of her sense of humor all the way through hospice until the very end. So I'm sorry, but I have to share this story, because she was telling me when I came to visit her also that they had to put her in the big sling chair to go to the bathroom, and they had her legs like this, and she said, "If you're going to show my jewelry box, push me to the front window and at least make some money." When she first found out that I was going to come visit her in hospice, because we had this vacation planned for months and months ago, I came because it was an emergency. Cor and my Tante Ali told me, maybe you should come now because we don't know if September she will still be here. And Joan and I, we used to Skype almost every weekend. So after I planned my trip to come visit her in hospice, I Skyped her, and as soon as the camera video went on, she says, "Who told you? Who told you to come? Who told you?" I said, "I can't wait to see you too, Joan." And she started laughing, but I know part of it was she was afraid, knowing that it meant that the end was near, that someone told me that. But also because Joan always worried more about everyone else, she was afraid I would lose my job by taking a second trip out. And she was also what we call in English a smart aleck. She always had something fast to say, and she told me I was the same way. And when I would say something to her, she said, "Oh my God, you're such a smart aleck. Where do you get that from?" I said, "Not from my pa or my mom, but from you." And I was so glad to be able to come spend that time with her. And once I got there, a couple times at night, I was sleeping, she would say, "Are you really there? Are you really there?" And in hospice, I watched her get these treatments, and after the nurse left, I said, "How many times a day do they come?" And she said, 3. And I said, "What are they for?" And she said, "Breathing treatments." And then I looked at her, and I looked at her cigarettes, and she started laughing. She said, "Yes, I need 3 breathing treatments a day to help me smoke better." I said, "Yes, I'm sure that's what the doctor told you." So the Saturday before Joan died was the last time that I got to Skype with her, and my mom was with me. My mom and her were always like sisters, and even my mom's sister and her were always good friends. And the last words that Joan said to my mom was, "Thank you for always sharing the kids with me." We're in our 50s, gray hair, wrinkles, but we're always still the kids to her. And I just wanted to say thank you, Joan, for loving us like only you could. Thank you for loving this ugly baby. And now you finally have your peace of mind guaranteed.